Hello and welcome to our latest Gemini Rogues video. This is the Monaghan. Obviously just scope of what we're doing, adding some mods. I think I go aiming system. Anyway, this is our first video after the COVID. So I just want to say well done to Wargaming for keeping us going, and I hope everyone made it through. That's not funny, is it?
No, not really, but it's just a relief in it.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
All, semi done and dusted. We in the part of the country where we are.
Yeah, and
we'll just thank subscribers and everything. Make sure they're all well and everything's gone okay for them. And we're gonna party in the Monaghan. Tier 5 American destroyer, and this is quite important. We're going to look at these torpedoes, special torpedoes. You can swap out the torpedoes you want to use on this ship. So this is the variant we went with, the old Mark 15 mod 3s, and we'll talk more about what they can do later, but you just see us installing this upgrade.
They do drop the speed quite a lot,
but
like 9. But
it's a positive in distance, range, and actual numbers of torpedoes.
And I was going to say, what your commander can give you 4 back, so you're only losing 5.
Yeah,
which isn't too bad.
So let's have a look at its survivability. Quite high, I think, hit points wise for that tier.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You straight down to the torpedoes to show you what they can do. Them torpedoes, 122-second reload is vastly more than you're going to get if you stick with the torpedoes it comes with, but the damage over 16,500. Be careful with that, and we'll talk more about that in video, why that's a bit of a deceptive for you. Detectable range 1.1, which is pretty good, so they're going to stealth up on you. Yeah. Reload's a killer though on them things, absolute killer. Party damage control, you're showing them. Smoke as well, it's got 20-second consumable duration, 81 seconds dispersion, so it hangs around for a fair while, but does take a fair while to reload.
Mainly I wanted to show the difference the booster will make to your consumables, because I think the consumables are quite important in this destroyer, because you do use your smoke a lot to shoot from, and you do get damaged quite a lot, so you do use your repair party quite a lot. So this does reduce the times, like percentages, like it increases your range of guns, which is useful, maximum movement speed, which is useful, and reload time of consumables like -5. That's awesome. 5%. So
you can see it changes.
So you do change your reload time on your speed boost and your smoke.
12 seconds, say.
Yeah. So it's potentially, I would go for the ×3 booster if you've got any, because it can change the performance of your ship quite a lot, I reckon.
Substantially.
Yeah, so it's worth it, I think. Back to survivability, because it does actually change. So the artillery range has increased. You didn't notice that. Chance of fire, 5%.
It don't feel that way. It really don't feel that much, to be honest with you. So which commander do you go with? I mean, I went with William. I'll see what's like you're going the same.
Yeah.
His main perk don't really apply to this ship. It's not a great benefit, the extra AP shell penetration.
No, I don't think
it's not a general
didn't
shell
actually
you
set
use.
him up for that, to be fair.
To be fair, that was the same. So let's have a look at that survivability again.
Yeah, 13,000. So I'm just showing the torpedoes, which has changed. Like top speed, it's gone back up to 59,
which is
because it was 55 because it dropped down.
And that for an American destroyer, 9.2 kilometers. You're talking IT. You're up there with the Fletchers and Bensons.
Look at the range of your detectability of torpedoes. That's pretty good, you know.
1 kilometer. It's pretty much 1 kilometer in it, to be fair. Maneuverability, it's not too slow. It's not too shabby. 37.6 knots.
3.6 rudder shift.
Yeah, and concealment, you've got that down to 5.5, haven't you? But you think you can get that lower?
Yeah, I think that will go below 5. I think by the time you've got your concealments on your other commanders.
I mean, them torpedoes.
This is mainly about torpedoes.
Yeah, I think you've got to fit these torpedoes, and you get 10 when you fire that use these compared to 8. The reload's a lot more substantial, but the distance is vastly improved. It goes from 6 kilometers up to 9.2, so you're 50% increase in torpedo range.
Let's just say if you play your tech tree American destroyers, what's the disadvantage?
Range.
Camo and range,
yeah. I mean, I do like this ship. It does do what American destroyers do. It's a knife fighter.
Yeah.
Fast turning turrets, plenty of room, firing quite quickly, and it's quite manoeuvrable. It's deadly with the spread. usual American spread you get on your torpedoes, which works well, especially when you're firing at 9.2 kilometers that you can. The spread means that if you put them side by side, a battleship's going to do well to avoid them.
Very well.
Very well. So, this is the very first game I had in this ship, and we're at a.
This was your first go?
Yeah, very first go. So obviously you can see how impressed I were after this game. But it's not a normal tactic I like to apply in my destroyers. It's going straight up middle, but the kind of siders on battleships who push forward and then go siders on is just too much of a tease for me.
I didn't notice how many destroyers are in this game.
So we've got pretty much a nice match, really.
Yeah.
Nice mix of everything.
Yeah.
A couple of cruisers, 3 battleships. So he's just slowing down. You can see him. He's just starting to turn back towards the middle of the map to come straight towards him. So got to get him off around that corner of that island, and he just starts to turn back out again.
It was worth it.
Yeah, we could have got lucky there, but look at that reload time.
It's quite hard.
It's nearly 2 minutes. And this is what I was talking about be very careful, especially how much damage one torpedo can do. And you're going to see it in this game. I mess up once where I fired a load of torpedoes and I fired 2 lots and I didn't need them.
This ship reminds me of the Kid.
So I haven't played the Kid, but you have, so you know more about that than me.
It's very similar reload time on the guns, but the Kid's got more guns.
Yeah.
But it's got less torpedoes.
Yeah.
So it's only got 1 tube, and it takes about 2 minutes to reload. So it's more of a gunfighter. But this is like very similar.
So we're doing about 10,000. You can see there. 3 torpedoes, 30,000. He is flooding, so we're going to get a little bit extra out of him here. The team's just lost a couple of ships quite fast, so we're doing quite well.
Your team, yeah.
Got a few big coming, so let's see what we're like in a knife fight. We're going to smoke up, because if you look to the map at the top left, there's a Bayern who's just got detected and detected who's coming straight towards us. So,
where did he go?
He's gone dark at the wrong time. He just destroyed our ship that we're spotting him. So we're 3 ships down now. We got another 10,000, and we're still climbing out of that New Mexico. So we're up over 41,000 damage now. Look, still climbing.
I like your camo. It's very nice, isn't it?
It's nifty. Yeah. And at this point, I'm not too fussed about hanging around in this smoke because of that Fubiki. If it were me, I'd be torping that smoke and trying to flush me out or kill me, basically.
What's your plan with this Bayern then?
I'm going straight for him. Stay face on. My plan here is, you're thinking, why am I shooting him? Well, I'm going to get spotted anyway. As soon as I come out of here, I'm 3 kilometres away, so I'm not worried about getting spotted. So what I'm trying to do is get him on fire if I can, as quick as possible. So he uses his repair patch, and then if I do get a torpedo into him, he'll sink. You're going to see that I don't have to worry about making him flood to kill him. So first salvo off, and he's nearly full health. This is what did me. And I fired this second lot, and I didn't need to. I really didn't need to. If you watch this, I think you don't even take 5. 4 of them, and he's dead.
You wasted
overkill. I wasted
6
torpedoes. 6 torpedoes into him. I didn't need to. But look at that already, 90,000 damage. 90,000.
Are you done? Are you finished?
No, not yet. We're going to keep cracking on. So at this point, I'm even more in a pickle than I were at the beginning, because that leap down in the middle of the map I took, which I weren't too happy about doing to start with, has now made a push to nearly the base, so I am all the way through.
Are you going to start
the opposite side? No, because then they'll know where I am, and I don't want to. At this point, it may not look like it with the number of ships, but I think we've got a good map control going across here. With the destroyers seem covered on the flank to me.
True.
My right as I'm facing, and we seem to be in a nice position as a team. So I'm just going to try and scoot across that. New Mexico, as you can see, is coming straight back towards me now, and I'm getting. You can see me camo circle. Yeah. I'm thinking, now there's a destroyer there as well, so I'm getting squeezed now into this middle pocket, basically. At this point, I'm just trying to work an angle to get some torpedoes off. I'm thinking. New Mexico I'm working with, but I've just got to worry about where that Fubiki were, the one we saw that went dark, because he were in this position there where, but if you look now, he's just capping the base, so he's another option I ain't got to worry about. So I start cutting it back across and trying to get this angle now to this New Mexico. I've got a destroyer chasing me from behind who's just outside my camo circle, so I don't really want to be using my guns here now because I'll be focal point of everything. So I've still got a fair bit of time before my smoke reloads of a minute and a half. I've learned my lesson from my buying, so I'm only gonna send 1 lot of torpedoes because of the spread.
Yeah.
Would it have been worth chucking a wide spread out here? Possibly, but it was going that well so far. I'm quite confident at chucking 1 out. So it doesn't seem to be deviating from his course. So 1 should do. Destroyer behind me gets finished off as well, and we're numerically back on track, ship-wise.
How do you think this thing handles, as in speed and turning? What do you think?
I like it. There's not much I don't like about this ship, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's good.
Other than the torpedo reload, but you can't have everything. This ship's pretty good.
I know, but thing is, I've had games where I've just sat in my smoke and just peppered battleships, and they've got no answer.
Yeah.
Because they can't see you, and they don't. Well, it depends where you position yourself, obviously, but it sets stuff on fire so well.
It's only 5%. It don't feel like that.
It doesn't feel like that. No, definitely not. And the torpedoes, even though the reload time's quite long, you don't need to fire both off at the same time.
I mean, it's just got that. You're going to most compare it to is a Farragut.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we're going to try and help us pal out now this old 8 caster, so you're going to see it in a knife fight now. And guns, again, it's an American destroyer. They turn quite quick, they fire quite quick, and they're quite reliable as well. Arc-wise, yeah. So I'm not afraid to go after this 8 caster, which is another plus point for this ship. Basically, it's like all the plus points you want from a destroyer rolled into one. Long-range torpedoes, knife fighting abilities, manoeuvrability, and stealth added into it. It's got pretty much everything covered. Nice accurate guns. Doing a fair chunk of damage as well. It's not like it's pitter-pattering at him. It's taking a good old... When you hit him. It's taking a go. I'm thinking about torpedo and I think, it's not worth it. I'm shredding him. He's got siders on now, so he's done me now.
He's got 4-second reload. He's got no chance.
So he's done. He's out of the way, but we have got detected straight back into it. Stealth. Done. That's another one out of the way. Up to nearly 100,000 damage. New Mexico. And this is the point where I'm thinking, I want to shoot him, but I'm worried about, you see me have a quick look at that Ismail, but he's heading off out to the top end of the map, so I'm not going to worry about him, but there is a Dallas down to the bottom corner. You can see coming up on the enemy team, and chuck some more torpedoes. And you've noticed that last salvo fired out there didn't do anything. They all missed. He turned back in where his direction he is now, and I've got my sights firmly set on this Ismail, to be fair. I'm not really worried about that New Mexico anymore. He's
not got many hit points.
No, and he's got a battleship of his own coming right across the front room. I'm surprised he's still alive now. And I'm thinking, do I shoot? Oh, you can see me lining my guns up. I'm quite close to that Ismail. If I shoot at this, but then I think he's just fired, and I'm thinking, he's shooting at somebody else anyway, and he's just fired, so he's going to have a fair old reload.
Could potentially get.
Ooh. And I think he's just running to Ireland, so I'm thinking, my torps aren't going to do anything now, so there's no point waiting.
Shoot him.
And then that just finished it off for me. So he's on fire, and this is a full-blown ninja. I don't think it even touched him when he did me, so I didn't even register any damage.
No, that's cool. That's perfect. Good example.
So we got him out, but it did mean we got spotted by both the Ismail and the Dallas, who's coming up behind us now. So Ismail lets off a salvo AP, luckily for me, and we avoid a few of them. I'm thinking, drop off radar, but it's just not happening. It does, in a way, work for me being spotted, because it throws this Ismail into a tiz, and it looks at this point like he's heading around the back of the island, and he's going to come out of the base, and I think he's thinking, I'm going to think he's going to do the same, but if I were in that Ismail, I'd cut back on myself and come right in front of that island.
Would you?
Yeah, so that's what I do. So I thought, it's going to work both ways for me. A, it brings me into play with Dallas as well. C, I can also torp off my port side, left-hand side, if he does come around the island. If he doesn't, I'm face on it and then I'm close at distance on him quick, which turns out to be quite useful. And I'm thinking about torping that Dallas, but you can see that predictive line. It's all over the place. It's absolutely everywhere. I mean, this is the beauty of this ship that you have. I mean, this is Farragut territory. This is where a Farragut and this ship can just do the same.
Automatic. This is
Farragut. Up to an island. If you're spotted, you're in torp range. It's normally game over. And this is what effectually happens. This has got the advantage, like we just saw with the Dallas, where it can fight the Dallas at a range where it's not spotted. So it's hard to see where the torps are coming from.
So why bother with the short range torps?
I don't think
do both with long range.
I don't know. It's just a quicker reload. That's the only advantage you've got, and they are faster. That's the biggest advantage you've got with the shorter ones. But you've seen in this one, it's not a.
I know, but you've got guns. When you've got a destroyer, like the Russian ones, typically, when you've got no camo and you've got no destroyers, you've got guns. I mean, but anyway, the British ones, you got your guns and you got a little bit of camo, but this has got torpedoes.
It's got everything. It's like a combination of all the best bits are all tier 5 destroyers rolled into one. It's not slow. No. It's got good camo. It's got knife fighting guns, and it's got long distance torps, which do a substantial amount of damage, and I've got a really big wide spread on them that covers up. I mean, 5. That's another advantage you've got with the long range torps. With the short range ones, you only get 8. 2 salvos of 4, whereas you get 2 salvos of 5 with a long range one, so you get effectively 2 more torpedoes. So I'd love to see the comparison over time.
Yeah,
If
yeah, yeah.
you know, for the number of torpedoes you actually fired, if it
Yeah.
actually catches up, and probably appears the same.
I'm-
I'm trying to cover this battleship here with a bit of smoke, and it don't quite work out because, if you notice, he's got a plane up,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I've not spotted at that point. And it means we also can't see him now. So kind of like I'm trying to keep him to myself at this point.
I was waiting for that plane to get shot down because I was going to say that. Have you noticed that the AA on ships have become really aggressive? Like planes do not last at all, but except for that one, he's still flying
He's
around.
pesky little swine.
Yeah,
And I'm
bad
thinking at this
example.
point, I've got some torps here, and I'm thinking, that battleship's ripping that Dallas a new one here. If I don't get these
You will
torps
do.
off shortly, but then I can see I've got no chance. He's heading off around the island. I've blown my chance to get him before we went there with torps, so I've just got to hope there's a cracking on line that I can get around the island. I'm umming and ahhing here at this point. Do I close the gap up?
Yeah,
but I'm
just-
thinking,
just wait till he goes behind the island.
yeah,
and
but I'm thinking at
tuck
this
in.
point, Dallas is pretty good at shredding things with HE, and
Yeah.
it won't take long with me. We only 5,000 hit points left to get shredded.
Well, the thing is, he'll spot you before you spot him.
Yeah.
He'll be targeted on you and firing before
Yeah.
you even see him.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why, but
And then he's going to know of where my torps are because what
Yeah.
angle my ship's at. So I'm thinking, get as close as I can,
think he's
detectable
pulling away.
range. We are actually being spotted, and then we'll just take it from there. If you notice now, I've managed to get both torpedo tubes loaded back up, so I've got a full volley of 10 torpedoes I can chuck at him. He's got to come round. If you notice, his battleship's gone into cap circle, so he's capping out. And I think I spotted again. That battleship's got to rinse him in a minute. So
side onto him.
I'm thinking,
Why
like,
is he still there?
he's turning back towards. So I'm thinking, is he going to try and get back behind the island? So I set one off way in front of him, but then I thought, he's levelled out. He's just going to stop on that course to keep his guns facing. So I put one on predicting
Yeah,
line
it's
as well.
worth a spread.
Well, I'm thinking that's a right old spread there.
Yeah, he's got to do some avoidance there, hasn't
he's got a nice massive gap for it middle that he could choose from. But as you see this here now, it's looking quite good.
he? He should have detected him by now. He must be thinking.
Well, I thought here he's
I'm going to turn.
he's straightened up. There's no way he's going straight like he's just lining himself up to go through him, and it. Oh, he done to the side of
We destroyed an enemy cruiser.
I never saw that coming at all. I did not think you were going to hit that torpedo.
Do you
but it
think he
did.
suicided?
I'm not sure. So if we racked up a fair bit of damage, 136,000 damage, Kraken, devastating strike on a high caliber.
That's not bad for you, you know.
When you're doing more damage than a Fubiki, when you're saying matches one of
Yeah,
them, then you know you've got a
definitely.
good destroyer on your hands because some things are deadly. But for me, that is a well worth buying destroyer because
Well,
I've had so much fun in it.
You say you're going to recommend this destroyer?
Yeah, I would highly. And
I
like we
would.
just said, it's got everything. I don't. On negatives is the reload on your torch, but if you're economical and you remember how much
Economical.
damage just one salvo, then 5 torpedoes can
Yeah.
do, even to a battleship.
Yeah.
I know it's tempting. Chuck 10 out there and cover a wider distance. You don't always need to, especially what range you can get. And it's a lower tier destroyer as well, so nothing against the players of that tier, but you're not going to see as many shapes being pulled. They're going to stop on the predictive lines more often
Yeah,
than not.
tier 4.
It does
Yeah,
happen.
tier
It's,
4,
it's
5.
and again, it's not tier 7 where you've got a Bismarck who can avoid your torpedoes at 1.2 kilometres with a nice left turn. The battleships you're getting at this tier don't tend to have the agility they do at I tier. So one salvo, probably good enough.
Yeah.
Chuck 2 out, it can work whichever way you want, but you just got to remember you've got a good 2-minute reload. But good knife fighting while you're waiting if you want. You've got the capability to do that.
I do like this destroyer because it's good. It's a good all-rounder.
Yeah.
It's guns, torpedoes, stealth, speed.
It's like we just said, you just didn't nail it, Edwin, all around it. It's not one matchup or situation where
No.
it can't thrive.
It's not like, say, a kamikaze. Really good stealth, really good reload on torps,
Yeah.
but its guns are like a negative.
Yeah. Well, that's
Well-
pretty much Japanese.
Yeah, definitely. Fubiki's got potent guns.
Yeah, but they don't fire very quick. They
If
do
it
do a
can-
fair bit of damage
If
on
you
here.
can point them at
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
definitely.
But I like it. It's like you're on straights where you've got that up close and personal feel. I know you ain't got sonar or radar or anything like that, but you can knife fight with a Bestrom, and then on wide open sea maps like we've got here, not many island cover, it can torp at range.
I think T-61, German, tier 5 destroyer. Slow turning guns, I think you'd
Yeah.
rinse one.
Yeah.
I
I think you've got a little bit more stealth, and you've got vastly superior torp range as
yeah,
well.
definitely. Anyway,
That's it.
Calypso 5, let's call that a wrap because we're rambling and I'm going to have to stick some at the end. That's it then, people. Thank you very much for watching our first video back after the COVID. Laters.